Good morning, everybody. Welcome to In the Kitchen with Tally Faye. It's a beautiful Monday morning, I guess, right? It's supposed to be ugly weather after a while, so we're battening down the hatches and stuff. I put up all my pot plants and everything, try to get everything all secured on the porch and everything. If this storm rolls off in here this evening or whatever, that's one thing I don't like about Texas weather. Is that's my oven getting ready. Is how the storms and stuff just seem to come in after dark. You know, you can't see nothing. And you're like, was that my barn roof that just blew off, or am I just hearing things? But any old who, good Lord will watch over us. That's what we do. But this morning, I'm in here. The first thing I'm going to do to get going is making a homemade apple pie for dessert, because I'm going to come back and we'll do the, we're going to do a chicken broccoli loaf after this video. But we're going to do first this homemade apple pie. I just happen to have 3 big apples. A lot of times the recipe will call for 6 apples or something like that, but it's talking about a much smaller apple. These just happen to be some big old apples. Buzz had a couple of red delicious apples that he had been taking to work, which are not my favorite for pies because they're not tart, but hey, I'm going to use them. And then I had one big Honeycrisp apple, which is my favorite, because they're crispy, they're sweet, tangy, all that together, right? But you choose whatever kind of apple you want. But it's just, this is what I'm making from stuff that I already had set up in the kitchen. And remember, that's what I'm trying to show y'all on some of that stuff. So what I did was I took those 3 big apples and I peeled them and sliced them up real thin and everything. And I've had them soaking, so you can see the juice in there that's starting to build up on them and stuff. But what I did was I peeled them, sliced them real thin, not paper thin, but real thin. And then the first thing I did was sprinkle some lemon juice over them to keep them from turning dark, right? And that adds just a little bit of tartness in there that you want, because it's not going to taste like lemon when you put that in there, okay? But that's for keeping your apples bright. So I sprinkled them with lemon juice and I tossed that with my hands. Got them all coated real good. Not a bunch, just sprinkle it, okay? And then toss them, coat them with it. And then I took, and you don't have to measure on this. You really don't. But I'm going to call it a big cup, or at least a cup of sugar in there. And then what I have in my cabinet was, of course, I had some cinnamon. So I put a little bit of cinnamon in there. And then I need to get me some nutmeg, because I like having that for just a pinch of it in my peach cobblers. But in this, I put the ground allspice, but just a pinch. Just a pinch. You want just a hint of that. And if you don't like that, because it has that clove thing in there that, you have to be careful with clove. Big time. But put you just a little nip of allspice in there. And that goes with apples. It just does. It's meant to. But anyway, so it's got sugar, cinnamon, and allspice. And your lemon juice. And that's what's in here with these 3 apples. So I got them coated, and they are ready to put in my pie crust. Okay? The pie crust that I have in here, let me see. There we go. I have it already, and I pressed this one in here. This was 1 ball of pie crust that I had left in a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator, okay? I took it and I was going to roll it out, and I just decided, pooey with that. We're going easy on it and everything. That's where I want y'all to relax a little bit about trying to make all this stuff all something looking. It doesn't have to look all beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it looking beautiful. I love that. But it is not a necessity. And some of the best tasting cakes and things that I ever ate in my life as a little kid at my grandmother's house or something was something that she had thrown in a big old pan, or whatever. And it might not have been pretty, but man, it tasted good. It was some good stuff, right? But anyway, I took my ball of pie crust dough, which y'all have the pie crust recipe, and remember it makes 3 crusts. So I had used 2 of them out of there. I used the bottom and one for the top, so I had one left in that previous pie, and so this I had left for 1 pie crust. So what I did was I took it and I pressed it out really thin, and I poked little holes in it with my fork to give it air holes, so when it bakes, it won't bubble up out of there. It gives it room for air to come up out of that crust underneath it. So that's ready. My oven is preheated at 350 right now, because we're going to bake these apples a little bit slow in the beginning. I'm going to say probably 35 to 45 minutes on the 350, okay? Because we want these apples to get done. I really don't like for them to turn to mush in there, but that's why I'm saying 35 to 45 minutes. You might pull it out, because you know ovens are different. You might pull it out and use a toothpick or a fork or something, reach in there and kind of feel one of your apples and see how it's feeling, you know. And if it's feeling a little more doner, you know, sooner than you anticipated, then take it out of there, because our next step is this. After we take it out from baking in there for 35 to 45 minutes, just the apples in the bottom crust, right? So I took one part, probably 1/4 of this crust ball, this dough ball that I had, and I took it and I saved me some for the top to make a crumble topping on it, okay? So here is, see, can you see it like that? And all I did was take that dough, that pie crust dough, and I put it in this bowl, and I added me some sugar in there, okay? And then I started crumbling it, and just crumbling it and crumbling it and crumbling it. So now I have me a crumb topping to go on my apple pie, okay? But I don't want to put this on there first, because it'll burn before the apples can get done in there and this bottom crust can be done. So this will come later, and we will put it in there for probably, and I'm guessing, you'll have to watch it, but after this is done, after your pie thing is done for 35 to 45 minutes, we'll get it out and we will put the crumb topping all on it and everything, and pop it back in there for probably 15 to 20 minutes, something like that in there. Again, you'll have to watch it. And I'm thinking about one thing I want to do. I want to tell you. I'll do this I'll just do this in the beginning. Okay, first thing, what we're going to do here, we're just going to take these apples that have been soaking, and now they've been soaking in this in order to make that much juice. They've been soaking in this for a while, because I had to have my dishwasher guy come over. My dishwasher board quit. My electric board on it or whatever. I gotta have my dishwasher. That's a must. For all the cooking I do, I want my dishwasher. It's a good one, so. Excuse me. But anyway, all right, Lulu. It's starting to get stormy, and she starts freaking out. Okay, you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, we're going to spread these apples out in here. And what I wanted to do that I wasn't telling y'all about, I'm going to get me a stick of butter. I'll tell you what, I have a piece of one. And that'll be good enough, because you really don't need an entire stick. But see, look, it's one I had in the refrigerator already. So that's probably about 3/4 of one. A stick of butter. This is margarine. It's not real butter. I save the real butter for my important dishes. And not that apple pie isn't important, but it's so easy that you don't have to be particular about it on some of these things, right? So you just take this stick of butter and just slice them up on there. Why do I always get a tickle in my throat when I'm talking to y'all? Okay. See if that helped. Anyway, I'm going to get this butter sliced up on here. And I'm going to show y'all something else too. That I did. I'm going to wash my hands off. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have this 3/4 of a stick of butter put on here. But what I wanted to show y'all was this is a big pie plate. This is bigger than the, this is one of my favorite big old pie plates. I love to make cobbler pies in it, fruit pies and stuff. But it's one of them big anchor hawking dishes that I love so much, okay? But anyway, what I wanted to show you was I didn't even bring the crust over the edges. See? I just brought it up to the edge here like this. So, I don't think that I'm going to have to, you know, I showed y'all that thing about putting the foil around the edge of the crust. I don't think that we'll have to do that with this one because it doesn't come up over the edge like that, right? And so it's not exposed so much. We'll see. I'll watch it a little bit and stuff. So, what I'm going to do is pop this in the oven. And I'll come back when it's been in there for 35, 45 minutes or whatever. I'll check it. And I'll come back and then I'll show y'all about the crumb topping thing. And we'll sprinkle that on there. And I'll pop it back in there and let it finish. And we'll see the finished product on that. So, I'll be back with that. Okay? Okay, we're back. It actually took... I know that I said 35 to 45 minutes, but I've had this apple pie in there for an hour. But what I did was I kept going through there. I'm going to show y'all. See, look at it. I'm going to show it to you up close before I do anything else because it's still bubbling in there. But see, can you see the... Dang, it's hard for me to show you that. The color of the apples. But... there's still lots of juice and stuff in there anyway, right? That was something. I'm going to get the phone. See if I can keep from bumping it and turning it off. Alright, that way I can get you over here. Okay, now, see all the juice in there? And see, look at the color of the crust, right? So I didn't have to do the foil thing on it. But what I have done while I've had it in the oven is I reached in there with this fork and I stirred these apples around because the ones on top were, you know, would be dry like, or to me they would. So I wanted them all to be, you know, moist and stuff in there. But it's still, you know, with that hour, it's just now getting them to where they're softening up. So this may be perfect by the time I do the crumb topping on there and let it cook in there. So let me see if I can get it back up here without bumping it. Every time I do, I have to start a new video and it angers me. Okay, now what else I've done? Let's see. I made myself some notes so I wouldn't forget to tell y'all things. So rather than the 35 to 45 minutes, this has been in there an hour. Again, ovens are different, you know. So just watch it. One of the things I wanted to mention to y'all was a lot of times, or most of the time, when you're making pies like this, fruit pies, when you have your apples and stuff tossed in the sugar and cinnamon and stuff and marinating in that, you have like a tablespoon or two of cornstarch in there for thickening for the juice. But I don't even put that in there, right? I just don't even put that in there because after it's set, then it's dry, you know, it sets up, and I don't know, again, you know, I like pot liquor stuff. I want a little bit of juice in there and stuff. And so once it sets up, then there you are, you know, I mean, but that makes it be able to slice. Sometimes if it's juicy like this, if it's juicy like this, you can't slice it out of there. You got to dig it out with a big spoon or something or whatever. Well, that's fine with me. Get that crust and apples and the juice and stuff on there and everything. Hey, you know, that works for me. But one of the things I'm going to do, and this is stuff that you do not have to do to this, what I'm fixing to do, but I wanted to show you. I have, I don't know, it's probably a half a cup of chopped walnuts, okay? I'm going to take them right now, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle them. Let me turn you. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just going to sprinkle them now on top of my apples in here. On top of this apple pie part. Buzz likes nuts, okay? He likes the nuts. The other thing I love to do, because y'all know I like everything, is I love to take with these walnuts a handful of those dried craisins, dried cranberries, and sprinkle, I don't know, probably about a quarter. Say this is a half a cup of nuts, probably about a quarter cup, because they'll override the apples. Anyway, just a few little dots of craisins in there, the dried cranberries, all with the nuts and the cranberries and the apple. I love it. But Buzz does not like the cranberries in there. So, I'm not going to do the cranberries. Okay. We put the nuts in there. Let me check my notes on things I forgot to tell you a while ago. Okay. It ended up being an hour cooking the first round here. And then about the walnuts. Oh, one of the other things, when I put my sugar and cinnamon on my apples and everything and all that I added, the lemon juice and that, I added a teaspoon of vanilla in there. You don't have to do that, but I did do that. And I forgot to tell y'all that. And again, you know, I like this because the juice, no starch and cornstarch or anything in there, because the juice and stuff will absorb into the bottom of the crust and everything and make it be done but doughy. It's not doughy like a dumpling, but anyway, it's good. I like it like that. Okay, that was the things that I had forgotten about it and stuff. So now, I'm going to get and I have put in my, while I've been waiting on it to bake, I put my bowl of my little crumb topping in the refrigerator, because I want it the shortening and everything to be solid when I sprinkle it on here, not already half melted from setting out room temperature, okay? So, let me get my crumb topping. And we're going to do it like that. See, now it's good and cold, and I can sprinkle it in there and stuff. We're going to and I'm going to go around to, you know, because I didn't bring the crust over the edge of the pie plate, I'm going to make sure that I bring my crumb topping out to the edge there, okay? Now, we're going to put this whole little thing all on it. And then we'll do one other thing before I pop it back in the oven. And let the apples finish baking completely, and let our crumb topping bake. And you know, I said earlier 15 to 20 minutes. We'll see. We'll see how long that takes it. Like I say, I was just guessing, but I'll find that out. All right, there's the last of my crumb topping. Make sure I get it as covered as I can. Go to the edges. And then the last thing I want to do is, I stirred me up a little, anyway, I stirred me up in this bowl, this little bowl here, some sugar and cinnamon, like to the equivalent of if you were going to make cinnamon toast, okay? That's all it is. Matter of fact, I have more in here than I'll put on there, and I'll just set that over there by the toaster, and when we make cinnamon toast, we can just sprinkle it on there, or I'll use it in another recipe. But I want to take this sugar and cinnamon. Now, remember there's sugar in the crumb topping. That's what we had to do to make that work. But this will top it off very nicely. Adding this sugar and cinnamon mixed in on top of that crumb topping, on top of the nuts, on top of the apples. So, this should be very good. So, I'm going to put it in there. We'll see how long it takes. And I'll see you when I get back and see where, just exactly how far it took. And we'll find that out together. And then we'll see just how delicious this pie is. Okay, y'all, we have the finished product. So, it took 30 more minutes for the top crust to bake on it like I wanted. You may not want it to bake that long, I don't know, but remember, if you bake it any shorter time period than that, where the crust meets the apples, might be a little doughy. You might like that, you know. It's a preference deal, I guess. But anyway, it's still bubbling. Look at it. Can you hear it? Look how pretty it is, though. Doesn't that look yummy? Now that looks like it wants some ice cream. But see, look. See? And it's got the nuts in there. There's the pieces of nuts and stuff. All in this crumb topping. It's topping, and it's bubbling and stuff. It should be a delicious pie. I guess I can let y'all know it's too hot for me to try right now. I know that, and and plus, I believe you should let it cool before trying to get some out of there, because I don't know if it'll slice or not like that because it's so juicy like I wanted. But either way, get you something, just dig it out of there and get you a bowl and put it in there and put you some ice cream on it. Try it out, y'all. Homemade apple crumb top pie on it. Delicious stuff. I know it is. And hope y'all try it out and let me know. Let me know. You have to subscribe, hit the bell for my new recipes and stuff so you're notified about that. And give me some comments on there. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't like it. And I like to hear other things of different ideas and stuff, you know, where people have different recipes or different additives and stuff or whatever. And if it's something you don't like, you can say it. You know, I don't like nuts in mine or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's all about us learning a lot of this stuff together, right? It's recipes. That's what it's all about. You share recipes. So, I hope y'all have a great day. I hope all the Texas folks and anybody else out around us in the states and stuff are safe tonight in the storms. Because they sure are talking about it, some chances of some bad stuff. So, y'all just keep safe and give it to the good Lord and take care of yourselves, okay? And maybe enjoy an apple pie if you get off in there and make one. All right? See you next time in the kitchen with Tally Faye.